All right, we're going to take a look at the new product from Starlink. Came out September 24, and it's got the standard card in there. We're not going to do a lot on unpacking. It's pretty simple. And what this is, it's reminiscent of the standard articulated version 2, which had the quad pod, or more commonly known as the pod. And this allows you to take your new standard dish that has the removable slide piece on the back, where you can pop that out, and we'll show you that in a second. And the kit comes with the new slide that goes into the back of the dish. And that's going to allow you to bring your cable in, and they've added a nice little feature here to make it a little bit easier in which way these go in. You got a little circle on there and a circle there, so you just align those circles up and you'll feel it. It'll lay itself in there, and then just give it a good, you may have to give it a little whack, and yep, and there it clicked. And that's pretty much in there for life at this point. You could get it out if you had to. You'd have to pry on these clips a little bit to release it. But basically, this on the articulated, you had the arm coming down, and then this would plug in on the bottom. So what's going to happen now is, like on some of the other mounts where they have the pipe, you can take and bring your cable and push your cable up, and bring it out through here. And then that will come and go plug into the dish, and then the bracket will lay down and slide in there. So we'll give that a try and see how that works. Okay, so we've got a dish here, and every once in a while people ask, I'm not quite sure how do I get this off, and they're in here trying to poke around, and I did it when I first got it, trying to figure it out. But the easiest way when that's on there is to leave it closed, and then get your one finger underneath and squeeze it together. All right, and then you can just give it a little tug, and it'll pop right on out of there. So now with the new pod mount set up, and I really do like pods. We started off with the articulated with the pod, and you know what, that pod is really a versatile mount. And it lets you do a lot of things. You can mount that on a roof if you have like a flat roof, or you can mount it. We've done a lot of them in deployments where we take a pallet and we'll put a pallet up on a commercial building on a flat roof, and it's just screw the 4 legs down to a pallet, and shazam, we got it. And if it's expecting any wind, we'll throw 2, 3, 4 center blocks on it to give it some more ballast. But as you can see, this is real simple. That's just going to slide in there and allow that cable to come up and through. And so we'll take that and we can bring the cable. And we're going to bring that on up through. And then you got to do a little, all I did there was do a little twisty as we brought it up through there, just to get it to pop up through the hole in the top. And we can now take that, get this all aligned, and just remember, or if you're new to it, that these look like a regular Cat 45. They're not. They obviously have the seal, which is important. We do use like Cat 7, 8, 9s outdoor cables without the seals for temporary, but you do have to watch if the weather is going to be a situation where it could get moist. Now, if you do use a regular cat cable, you do have to trim most of them because a lot of them have extra rubber. You'll see how this is all metal around here. That's what you're going to want it to look like if you're using a cat. So you might have to take a razor knife or something and trim off some of that plastic to get it in. Almost always have to do that, but a cat cable will work fine. You know, and we've tested them easily up into the 150-foot range, and I think the longest was 200 foot on one of the I think that might have been a Cat 10 outdoor. So, but you'll notice there's if you can see it on there, there is a clip, but that clip is rounded and it's not going to lock, so you don't have to get in there and release that. And even on a regular Cat 45 plug on your cable, those don't lock the way that's made. So that just plugs in nice and firm. All right. And then as you bring this, you want to get that laying down inside. And you'll see there is a channel made up in there. So to get that to go in there, just get the cable and get that laying in flat, and then you kind of just gently pull up on the cable. I'm pulling the cable up this way, and you'll see on the top, so that's coming out, and we want to pull up on that as we slide this in. All right, and bring camera back, and we just slide that in, and generally you can get them like this on most of them, and just give it that one snapped in there nice. So they're refining their technique on building these, especially the plastics. So that snaps in pretty nice. Doesn't have the locking screws, the in-motion brackets. There again, that's another great bracket. If you didn't see it, check out our in-motion bracket install and setup and review there. We can do that. We've used them on some pallets as well, because that's easy. You can take them, screw them down to the top of a pallet, put a couple cinder blocks on to give it some extra ballast, and it will hold it in place real nice. And those have the screws in the back here. They give you a wrench, and you can tighten those down. Much heavier bracket because it's designed to be able to handle the load. But a lot of times what we're getting into is, you know, bad weather and coming in after a hurricane or tornado, and you could still have some high winds going on for a couple days. And Katrina, we ended up having another hurricane come in, so we kind of had to go back into a sort of a response and preparation mode with our people that were now down in that ground zero area. So that's really the basics of it, and you can then take this, and we'll put this on the pod, and we're going to go outside to set that up like that with the pod. Okay, so we've got our quad pod out of its box, and we've got that laying out on the drive, and got our Starlink here, so we've got that snapped in as we showed you. And then when you go to mount this, you can bring that cable. That cable can come straight out the bottom, go down through the hole and come out the bottom if you want. Most commonly we can bring that out like this, bring it out to the side, and then when we go to mount it, you want to look, if you can see it, there's a notch inside there on this side, and that notch matches up with this. So we set that in, we just put that in and twist it until that goes in. And then the easiest thing is lay it on the ground. You heard it snap as soon as the weight of the dish came onto it. So that snaps right into place. Now do keep in mind there is no rotation of the dish on the pipe. Everything's solid at this point. So you have to rotate your base, and that can be a little problematic on some applications, but generally you're going to be using this on fairly flat ground or a flat roof. We've put a couple of them. We're packing up some now, getting ready for possible hurricane response to Helena. And these are nice that you can mount this like we've done with the version 2 articulated, and mount them right onto a pallet, and that pallet can be laid on the ground. Put some cinder blocks on it, and if you're expecting heavy wind, I would strap them down, probably 4 of them, and you can lay that on the ground at a command area, or you can, on a commercial roofing, you can put that on the roof. Just watch out for the splinters. If it's a membrane roof, you might want to put something underneath it, or make sure it's got stones on the top to kind of protect the roof. That's really all there is to it, and sweet and simple. Really do like that mount. It's been a great mount on the version 2s for a couple of years, and has worked out really good when we're deploying stuff temporarily on the outside. And still a nice setup for RV applications or your command posts, where you can take it. You can take this and set it outside if you don't have any wind. You could put it on the roof of a command post or RV. And if you're worried about the wind, then I would obviously, you know, get a couple of straps rigged up or something like that. Or you can mount this right onto the roof. Just do the proper sealing and reinforcement that you would need to if you're going to put it on a trailer or something like that. But it might be better looking at the roof mount that has a pivot on it. Those work really good on trailers. You can get them mounted, or the in-motion mount. We did a review on that. Take a look at that, and the in-motion's got a lot of good applications as well. Okay, and here we'll just give you a quick shot of the quad pod setup. This is in one of our deployable kits that we can ship it in this if we need to, or they just pack up nice and we can stack a number of these in a trailer and strap them down. Obviously it has foam that goes in here depending on how this is configured. Now this one is configured ready to go for Helena, and this also has a TP-Link access point, and we can put additional different cables in them, but we have cables in a different container if we need them. But that allows us to put it on one of the masts on the trailer and get it up higher and cover a larger area around the command post. So we got the pod that would just lay in inside of here, and these are transportable. You can see these have been moved around, these have been deployed, and they get beat up a little bit, but I'll tell you, we've never had a problem with them. You know, as long as you ain't dropping them and cooking them with too much heat, they're pretty good. Now, this thing to remember is once you put this together, none of this will go back in its shipping box, which is unfortunate. I wish they would have designed that box that once this was put in there, that this would be able to lay in there in a different version or manner somehow. But it fits in nice in here. And then we would we'd put bubble wrap in here. We'd bubble wrap around this, lay that on top. So that would snap together and go to in. I'll show you what the kit looks like. Give you a little idea. If you didn't see, there's another video that goes through this in more detail. So we've got these spring-loaded. These are you know, manufactured with a stop down here. So this is locked in place very nicely. And those kits are for that maybe $30 something, I think it was, unless they've gone up a little. We bought a bunch of them, but that allows holds the dish in, and then it's got clips in here that'll hold the router in place, and this holds the power supply in place. The factory kickstand, we have that in there because there's times if you just want to take it and lay it on the ground, that's fine. Got the cable, and then we also have a 12-volt converter, which is taking this up to 48 volts on this one, and these will run a little bit lower than that if you need to, but they're spec'd up to 56, I think it is. So 48's a nice range, and if you're running a 150-foot cable on it, you want to have that extra voltage because that helps reduce the line loss with the longer cable. But that just plugs into a cigarette lighter, or you can hot wire into something else. That's really like these. Use these, probably gone through hundreds of those over the years, hooking up equipment in the field. And then this comes out to barrel connector. And you can check that out on one of our power supply videos. Have that in there. If not, drop us a message and we'll send that off to you as well. Nice little package, and that is only $60 on the high side for the components there. These are harder to get now, but there's other versions of that out there. This was originally sold by Radio Shack, and I'm not sure if those are still in manufacture. I haven't bought any because we had a bunch over the past few years in inventory. But that's the whole kit. Easy to move, and it's great for emergency services deployments. It's great for your RV. You know, you can put this underbelly box. It does take up a little bit of room, but not a crazy amount. So, and then when you go to put it back in, you just make sure that you're up against that tab. Drop the one side in, and actually flip it. Got the wrong side. And drop the one side in and drop the other side in. And that is, I can basically pick the box up. It's locking that in place. And you buy these, Lowe's sells the box, and I think that was maybe $25, something like that, in that range. And then we could put everything back, all these back in, and if you set it like that, it kind of lays in that groove there. And then you drop this in like that, and that'll lay in there. But like I said, I would get some bubble wrap and just put a piece of bubble wrap around this, or just lay a piece of bubble wrap on top, and that'll just reduce some of the scratching. And but this has been in and out of this case a couple dozen times. And the nice advantage is we still got some room left, so we can put our auxiliary access point. These are just pre-programmed, and you can get this and do the whole TP-Link system, which is nice because that lets you connect to it remotely and monitor it and all that. Works real well. And we're now packaging these with a PepLink system, and we can run one of these and then run an LTE as a backup, or we can run up to 3, technically 4 Starlinks and 2 LTEs on the bigger units, but that gets a little bit pricier. But so you can handle most any situation you have to. And we've got an extra piece of cable in case we need to go a little bit longer with that. That'll lay in there. And then put the lid on, and you can wire that lid will go on and you can snap. You can see it's got shipping labels to try and get the delivery guys not to beat it up too much. And then you just pop 6 wire ties on here, wire tie it on, or you can put a couple padlocks on or something if you wanted to. And then this is ready to go. So we appreciate you watching. Be safe out there and press on. Thank you very much.